Hello, everybody. How are we today? Man, all these guys in here already. Whoa. Mr. Otterson. Robert. What, was my hookup or your hookup, Bob? Chris. You're new here. Good. All right, guys, we're going to be working from the workbook today. And it's going to be ostinato number 7. It's your 16th notes on the hi-hat. Hello, Jim. Okay, well, we're out of the workbook, ostinato number 7. All right. I don't know why everybody was on there last night. Robert. You're welcome, dear Jean Paul, or whatever. All right, I'm going to put my. That's nice of you, Jim. Put my email address, mattpatella1001@gmail.com. Now, gentlemen, the new guys, Chris and Jean Paul, or is that, yeah, Jean Paul. All right, email me after the lesson, or you can mail me now. You get on my mailing list, and what you'll receive every Monday, or, whoa, what's that? Every Monday, you will get the week's agenda and the location and time where we're doing the lesson. I've been doing 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this channel. At 7 p.m., I've been working from my site, mattpatellallivelessons.com. So if you email me, I'll give you all this information if you want to, come back. Hey, Ed, how you doing? My email, Jim. All right, let me put it in. Ay, 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 ay. Okay. So we're working out of ostinato number 7. Now, for the new guys who don't have the workbook, everybody here has the workbook except Chris and Jean Paul. Am I saying that with the French accent? Jean Paul. Ha! That's nice. I like that. All right. All it is, if you have the Gary Shafee book and you have the pattern series, the time functions, you'll find it in there. It's a symbol ostinato where we're not using the ride cymbal, we're going to use the hi-hat. So what we're doing today is we're going to work with 3 voices. The hi-hat, the bass drum, and the snare drum. Okay? Troy, how you doing, sir? You didn't email me yesterday. All right, well, guys, email me. My email's there, mattpatella1001@gmail.com. Like I said, you'll get the week's agenda, the time, location, and if need be, some PDFs. And if you want to purchase the workbook, fine, let me know. And except if you're in France, or if you're in Europe, I can't do that because it'll cost you a fortune. Okay, now, we're going to do 16th notes. I'm in a 16th note formation. I'm counting 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. Now I'm not going to play no accent right now. I'm just going to use the hi-hat, and I'm going to play 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the. But notice I'm coming down. Notice I'm coming down from one spot, so I'm getting only one consistent sound. What I want to do is drop an accent on the count of 1. The downbeats, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. Sounds more musical and a little funkier than straight 16ths. So you got 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. Very basic. But that accent is what you, without the accent, you got, that sounds terrible in my opinion. With the accent on the downbeat, sounds a lot better. So now, we're going to keep dropping the left hand, the backbeat, 2 and 4. So we're going to establish this on the top. I mean, I wish these friggin' pop-ups, get the hell out of here. Driving me crazy. Ah, Lord. We got to do a lesson here, guys. All right. Tomorrow, guys, at 1 p.m., there is no lesson. Right, the workbook, it's on 2 and 4 there, Robert. Tomorrow, 1 p.m., there is no lesson. I have an appointment with the doctor. He's a specialist. And 4, right. So if I'm counting 16ths, I'm going 1 E and 2. Sorry, wow, that hurt. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. So that's going to be constant. That's why it's ostinato. It's a cymbal ostinato pattern where the bass drum is going to be moving around, and that's going to be the dominant voice. So I want to keep, excuse me, I want to keep the hands consistent in sound, okay? Now again, let me reiterate that a ostinato pattern is not just a pattern rhythmically that continually repeats itself, not only rhythmically, but sound-wise, okay? So, I want to keep this as consistent as possible. Now my foot's going to be traveling around all through that pattern. So what I like to do, first time, let's say I'm warming up, I usually sit down at the drum pit and do some full strokes from the stick control book, but we're not there now. So we're going to warm up on the drum set. We're going to play this pattern. How are we going to warm up to this pattern? The bass drum is going to be the workhorse of this particular pattern, and the right hand, and the left hand's consistent. But basically, you want to loosen everything all up now, and you want to develop the balance of sound. So I'm going to play my bass drum a constant 16th notes, so I can warm up. I'm going to go 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. Now everything together. You want to take it faster? Now, I'm doing it to the right side, and I'll do that for 2-3 minutes. I'll do it slow. Yeah, hand specialist Joe. I don't know what the hell he's going to do, but whatever it is, I hope it gets better. Anyway, I would do that for 3-4 minutes, and if you're going to loosen up nice and slow. Then you want to take it to the left side. So on and so forth. 2 minutes, 2-3 minutes with the right, 2-3 minutes with the left. So you get loosened up. So, with all that being said, we're gonna start working with the bass drum now. Now we have a lot of different options here, and if you have Time Functions by Gary Shafee from the Pattern series, this would be number 1 for the bass drum. Okay, so I'm going to play the pattern on top, That 2 and 4, the backbeat on the snare drum, and constant 16th notes on the hi-hat with the accent 1, 2, 3, 4. Not a big time accent, just a nice musical accent where there's a difference between the E and the 1. E and is constant, like 1 E and But now look at my right hand. I have the levels in there. 1 E and 2. Now, it's slow, and I'm breaking it down to show you what's occurring. If you practice it that slow, what's going to happen? You're going to get stronger. All right? And it's going to happen for you. So now let's go to the bass drum part. Let's put the bass drum on 1 and 3 while we're playing that pattern. 3 E and 4 E and 1. 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and That's the first one. Do we all understand that, gentlemen? Before I go on to the next one, how I balance that right hand and try to be constant with the left. My left is out there today, and it's been out there for the last 4 weeks. And I have some problems with that. I'm going to a specialist tomorrow. Hopefully he'll find out what the problem is. And like Paul at night said to me, it's probably something in your neck, and it probably is. So, now the bass drum was on 1 and 3. Now, Jim, yesterday you talked about the term permutate. Permutate means to move over 1. So if I'm playing the bass drum on the counts of 1 and 3, and I want to permutate the bass drum, I'm going to now play it on the E of 1 and the E of 3. So instead of playing 1 E and 2 E, and I'm going to go to the E, 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and Now again, I got to bring this to your attention. A lot of guys, a lot of students that never played this before, for example, have the bass drum dominate the sound of their hand. Now, when I'm playing 1, I'm playing in unison or harmonic. Now, if I play the E, okay, I'm trying to maintain this sound. Right now, a lot of guys go like this, 1 E. Now you see how it distorted the right hand? So I'm going to have 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and My main concern right now, while learning these or practicing them to get them better, is to maintain the sound. Yes, there's other elements like, make sure you're in time, be consistent on top with make sure that the bass drum does not dominate that right hand on the hi-hat. What's this? So it's nice and slow, nice and relaxed. So now we did the 1 and 3. Now we're going to do the E of 1 and the E of 3. Now I'll play one measure of 1 and 3, one measure of the E of 1, E of 3, and back. So on and so forth. Do you understand that, guys? Any questions on it? So we got into the term permutate. And permutation means to move over 1. So the first exercise, the bass drum was on the 1 and 3. Now I permutated the bass drum on the second exercise. The second exercise, I shifted the bass drum. Instead of 1 and 3 now, I'm playing the E of 1 and the E of 3. So now, hey Horst, how you doing? Thank you for registering. I appreciate that. Horst, everybody clap. He is now an official member. All right, you got it, Troy. There's only one guy that frequents this, and he's not a member yet. He knows who he is. I'm not going to mention no names. And I would appreciate if he becomes a member, and it'd make it really nice. All right, Jimmy, does that explain the term permutate? You see how I did that? The 1 and 3, the E of 1, the E of 3, and we're going to permutate that again. So what do we do now? Instead of the E of 1 in the E of 3, we're going to nail the AND of 1 in the AND of 3. So far we have the 1 and 3, the E of 1, the E of 3. Now we're going to move over to the AND of 1 and the AND of 3. And nice and slow now, guys. And try to be as musical as possible. 1, E, and, 2, E, and, 3, E, and, 4, E, and, But notice, I mean, I look like a machine. I look like a robot. But that's not, you know, when I'm playing up-tempo or inside of a song and I'm grooving with the band, you know, I'm not worried about the downstroke tap up. This is for instructional purposes. It's not one more thing to think about. It's just part of the language, Jim. Okay? Now, it's not about how fast you can play it. It's about how nice you can make it feel. And make sure you're a musician. You're not somebody who pounds. I got, you know, those sites on Facebook, the Art of Drumming, the Syncopation Room, the Morello Stick Control, all those guys. I feel sometimes I'm on the YouTube channel because I hear everybody's putting their videos on and wants to be critiqued. And I get a lot of guys on there going, or playing 16s like this. That sounds terrible. So now what we're doing, we got the 1, the E, and the AND, okay? Let's do the AND again. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. Ah. Okay, so now if I'm playing up, and these are just exercises, and you're being familiar with controlling the bass drum against the pattern. I don't know what I'm going to play in a song that this fits in. You know, it's just at the moment. But I have the facility, and the facility means the technique and the control. That's exactly what it means. So now, let's go back to the exercises. We did the 1 and 3, the E of 1, the E of 3, the AND of 1, the AND of 3. Guess what comes next, guys? You tell me, Jim, what comes next? Jim, this is for you. What comes next? Can't hear you. We did the 1, the E, and the AND. What comes next? Common sense. The da of 1 and the da of 3. So now, here's what we got on the da. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the. Now, what's the question mark, Jim? You hit the wrong keys. It's on the da, D-A. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1 E and the 2. All right. I want to show you the grid, but I want to give you an exercise that's going to help you with that motion. Forget the 2 and 4, just the right hand. Who's this? Hey, how you doing? Not yet. I'm going to the doctor's tomorrow. Hopefully he'll find out exactly what's the problem. You're late and the lesson is at 1 p.m. Where are you there, Camelcan? Or is that what your name? Alcan? Camalcan. Where are you from? All right, so here's an exercise I want you to do. two of them. We're going to use the stick control book, but before we go to the stick control book, I want to give you one exercise, which is the grid. We're going to play the bass drum. We're going to do an increment, 4-beat increment, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. We're going to play the bass drum on the 1, then the E of 2, the and of 3, and the da of 4 and back. Nice and slow. 1 E and a 2 and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. Do we see that? All right, well, the lessons here are 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sorry that you're late. You don't have the workbook or the PDFs. If anybody that lives out of the United States and wants to purchase the PDFs, because the book, for me to send you the book, it'll cost a fortune to mail it to you. So if you want PDFs, I sell the book with postage in the United States, $35. PDFs would be $20. And you're going to get 180 pages PDFs if you send $20 to me. What's this? Jonacan? How about if I just call you John and make my life simple? Okay. Anyway, do you understand how that grid works, guys? On the E, the 1, the E, the and the da, against this pattern. Because what you're trying to do, you could do it with right hand lead for a while. 3 E and the 4 E and the 1, the 2 E and sorry, let me do it again. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1, 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and You understand it, guys? I'll call you John, okay? Email me there, John, and whoever else hasn't emailed me yet. So that's one thing to do with in addition to the exercises that we're working with on ostinato symbol pattern number 7. To really get familiar with this or get used to it as an exercise, no snare drum, just the hi-hat. We're going to reference off the stick control book. The stick control book is written, page 5, page 5, line 1 is written 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And how we're going to interpret that is 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and you see the interpretation, the difference? Instead of 8th notes, we're going to consolidate it to one measure, and we're going to think of it in 16th notes. So here's how it's going to work now. This is an additional exercise. All right? It's going to be the bass drum. We're going to eliminate the lefts, and we're just going to play the rights. The rights will just be the bass drum part. So I'm counting 16, so I'm going to go as line 1, just the bass drum part, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and do we understand that? While I'm playing the top, no left hand. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and now the bass drum. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and okay, then we go to line 2, same interpretation. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and we're just going to play the rights. We're going to eliminate the lefts. So the bass drum part will be now 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and against this 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and Now you go through the whole page like that if you like. It's a control thing. You're controlling that bass drum. You're telling that bass drum, yo, that's what you're going to play against the pattern. Okay? And you could also do it to the left side. So you're going to say, do line 1. Here's how you could do, to save a little, not time, but make it not like productive. Yeah, I guess that's a good word. Do it one time with the right hand. Line 1, 1 E and 2 E and then to the left and 4 E and I'm putting the accent on the ands. I'm sorry. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 to the left. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and back and forth. If you want to use line 3, for example, as a reference, you're going to play the bass drum. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and do that to the right twice. Then to the left. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and Do you understand that, gentlemen? Any questions on that? Because tonight at 7 p.m. we're going to finish number 7. So you have all afternoon to really put your face in there and work on it and bring me the questions. Understand it, Jim? Ed? Robert? Joe? Is there any questions on that? Troy, is there any questions? John, any questions? We all understand it. Okay. Now we're going to work again from tonight. And tonight's lesson is going to be on my site, MattPatellaLiveLessons.com. You got it, Robert. All right, good. Now, for those who weren't here last night and for those who were, okay, I went over some vamping patterns. Eighth notes, triplets, and 16th notes. We all understand it. Okay, so now, 3 eighth note vamping patterns. Do we have any problems with that? So I just want to review that and make sure you got that. Because we're going to play these patterns against this eventually, not anymore. So you should work on it. And let me put the drum pad on here. So, this old age shit sucks, man. It does. The drum pad. Yes, I did, Joe. Here's the deal. I don't know. Everybody seems to have, some people get on, some people don't get on. I don't know why that is. There's some updates you might have to do to your system in order to view it. What is this? Okay. So, I don't know, your flash drive or whatever you have on your computer, you might have to, go to your system and look at the drives and see if they're updated. Or look at your computer and see if there's any updates available. And update everything. You should have no problem at all. Okay. Let me change the sticks here. All right, here's what we're going to do now. The first exercise I gave the vamps was just straight eighth notes. Now, let me put, hold on. What I do is just play straight eighth notes. Now, I'm not going to put any formation on, just eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll do that, put a timer on for about a minute, 2 minutes. Then I go to the left hand and hit 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 2, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And do that for another minute or 2. But the way you want to practice it really is to do a 4-measure increment. Yeah, well, if you reboot or restart your computer, it will help. You know, there's a lot involved with these computers, man. They're fine. You can spend $4,000 for a computer and still have a problem like that. And the only thing is, you know, let me just, before I get back to the vamps, let me explain something. You know, at 1 p.m., I mean, this is worldwide now, but usually at 1 p.m., there's not, the traffic on the internet's not too heavy. 7 p.m. at night, man, everybody comes home and they're on a computer. They don't talk to their wives. They're looking for a girlfriend or whatever it might be, but the traffic is ridiculous. So the more traffic there is on the internet, the slower it's going to be connecting you. Yes, Jim, that was a good suggestion. If you can't get on, don't turn your computer off. Close all your windows. You could say reboot it, which is restarting it, and go back, and you definitely will get on. Because things get out of place here, because there's so many people on the internet at 7 p.m. Okay, thanks for that help, Jim. Okay, now anyway, we're doing eighth note vamp. And the way I really like to practice, I mean, if you practice the right hand for a minute or two and the left hand for a minute or two, that's fine. I like to do 4-measure increments, meaning I'm going to vamp with my right hand for 4 measures, and I'm going to vamp with the left hand for 4 measures. So here we go. That's a better one there, Mr. Otterson. If you have Google, you know, download another browser like what was that, Firefox? Don't get on Internet Explorer. That'll slow you down to like slower than a turtle. Man, these pop-ups are driving me crazy today. All right, we're going to go back to the vamp, and we're going to do 4-measure increments. Now, does everybody here know how to count 4-measure increments? I don't want you to feel it at this point. I want you to count it. If we're playing eighth notes, I need to keep track of how many measures I played. So instead of just counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, when I get to the second measure, I'm counting 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 4 and 4 and 2 and 3, back to 1, 1. So I make the change with the hand. So let me play that a little bit for you. I'll do it somewhat slow, okay? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2, 2, 3, 4, 3 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and 2 and 3 and left. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and, come on, left hand 3. Sorry, my left hand is in bad shape. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Left hand. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Now there's a reason why I practice a lot of vamps. If I'm doing 16th notes, 3E and 4E, I'll play it up a tempo. Right, I'm counting 1E and the 2E and the 3, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play that thing, the same thing I just played on that one surface, but now I'm going to play up here the left hand. You're taking a half a single stroke roll. Right hand lead, left hand lead. Now that's the first of the eighth note vamps. The second eighth note vamp, we're doing the same thing, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, but this time we're putting an accent on the count of 1 and 3. 1 and 2 and look at the level, and 4 and. One and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So now you have no accents. Now you have the one with 2 accents on the 1 and 3. The third eighth note vamp, there's an accent on the and of 2 and the and of 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Do we understand that, gentlemen? I'm not going to do it with my left. I'm not going to embarrass myself. It just hurts so bad. Okay, so we have the 3 eighth note vamps. The one with no accents, the second one with the accent on 1 and 3. And the third one, the accent on the and of 2 and the and of 4. Yeah, Robert, you still there? Robert, come up and tell me you're still there. I want to talk to you a second. Okay, we'll go to the triplet, grouping of 3. No accents, just straight triplets with one hand. Like I said, I'm not going to demonstrate it with the left, okay? I apologize. Hopefully next week someday I can, so it gets better. Okay, Robert, what browser are you using? Are you using Chrome or Firefox or Internet Explorer? There's a couple more, but out of those 3, are you using any of them? Robert? All right, we're going to go to the triplets. I'll wait. Barry, 1972 beats per minute. Is that your name or is that what you're doing it at? 1,972 beats per minute. My metronome don't go that way. That's why, Robert. There you go. Internet Explorer. You don't delete Internet Explorer because you need it eventually for other things. All right. Go on the search engine, and if I were you, I would use Firefox. All right, or you use download Firefox to your computer, and make that your browser, as opposed to the Internet Explorer. The Internet Explorer, you use that, it's going to take you down slower, like I said, slower than a turtle. You use Chrome. You could use Chrome. That's your nickname. Our lessons here are at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. 7 p.m. On my site, mattpatellalivelessons.com. Now, tomorrow there's not going to be a 1 p.m. lesson for I have a doctor's appointment. Anyway, I put my email in there. Would one of you guys put my email in there for this gentleman? Is that battery? I can't pronounce that. Batterio? What's your real name? Now, did you understand that, Robert? Download either Firefox or Chrome. Let me go back to the triplets. No, you don't have to try it. Do it. That's what's slowing you down from making connections is the Internet Explorer. That's prehistoric. You'll see a big difference if you have Google Chrome or Firefox. Okay, the triplets, the same process. No accents. So I have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2. Here, let me get that. Who did that? Troy? There you go. Thank you, Troy. Okay, I appreciate that. That's my email there. Email me. What is it? Jimmy did it too. Okay, thank you, Jim. And thank you, Troy. All right, now, the triplet, no accents. I'm coming down from one spot. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the next movement with the triplet, the accent we're going to put on the downbeat. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're going to have 1 and 2, 3, 4. Or you're going to have down, tap, up, down, tap, up. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have the accent, okay? On 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you have it without the accent. The next movement is the accent is going to be on the duh of the triplet. So you have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I explain the level system, aka control strokes, every 5 or 6 lessons. Now, if I were you gentlemen, come March the 1st, there's not a time yet, I haven't set a time, but March the 1st on here on YouTube, it's just Sunday, I will be doing a live broadcast on a Sunday, I don't know the time yet, with some former students of Joe Morello. Okay, and the reason why I'm mentioning this now is because the level system. The gentleman who wrote the book, The Level System, not that he discovered it, but he put it in black and white. He documented it and he explained it, and he did a great job. So I would actually, try to make that lesson, because he most definitely will explain everything you need to know about the levels in the level system. And I have 2 other gentlemen who are also former students of Joe Morello. That's Mr. Alan Herman. We all know who Alan is, correct? Or if you don't, you will. And we have Steve Forster. They're going to talk about Luca, okay. Luca, okay. They're going to talk about it. The title of the broadcast is going to be Memories, Our Memories of Joe Morello, with Joe Morello, for example. And we're going to explain, from meeting him and through the whole series of taking lessons and him being a mentor, how he helped us and guided us, and how he took us to where we are today. Okay? So that's going to be the 1st of March. It's a Sunday, providing it don't snow, because these guys are coming from all over. And I don't know if you guys understand how difficult it is to get 4 guys in one room on the same day talking drums, because they're all over the place. So I wanted to do it in February, but it's not going to happen. It has to happen in March. So put that in your calendar, put it on your calendar, and please make it. You'll love it. A lot of good memories, a lot of good things happening, and a lot of talent. Okay? Now, we did the triplet on the downbeat of 1, 2, 3, 4. We moved the triplet without the accent, and then the accent 1, 2, 3, 4. The next I did it up tempo, but you don't want to do that up tempo. You want to accustom it. See, if you're doing, for example, the accent on 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, that's actually going to help you more than, or than that. Eventually, you want to get there, do it slower. The slower you practice that particular exercise, the more control you're going to obtain. And without control, speed's not going to exist. Or if you're going to try to do speed without control, it's going to sound like shit. Okay, then we're going to go to the duh of the triplet. 1 and duh, 2 and duh, 3 and duh. So we have no accents. 3, 4. Accent on 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Then all the does. 3, 4. 1 and duh, 2 and duh, 3 and duh, 4 and duh, 1. We understand that, gentlemen. So that takes care of the 8th notes and the 8th note triplets. Now we're going to go to the 16ths. There's other things besides I can do with the triplets and the 8th notes more than I gave you, but the three different ways of the 8th notes and the triplets are fine for now. Work on them. The 16th note's the same principle. This time I'm counting without the accent, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you're playing on a drum set like I have my pad right now, the same kind of situation, I do use my pedals. My pedals on 1, 2, 3, 4, the bass drum, and the hi-hats on 2 and 4. If you're just practicing on a pad and your feet are on the floor, use your feet. You play, pretend it's a bass drum with the right, and pretend it's a hi-hat, heel and toe. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3. That's the 16ths. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3, 4. Now, I'm going to accent the 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a down, tap, tap, up, down, tap, tap. That's the levels. No accents. 3, 4, accent. And on the does. 2, 3, there we go. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1. Back, so on and so forth. All right, we understand that, guys. Email me and I'll send you the agenda or the time and location. The next lesson is tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Where are you from, dear Luca? Where are you from? If you're in South America, you're in the United States, you're in Europe, where are you? If you're in Europe, it's going to be very late for you. If you're in the United States or you're in South America, it's at 7 p.m. Okay? MattPatellaLiveLessons.com. Email me. You got my email there. Email me and I'll send everything to you. Everything you need to know. Okay, Italy. All right. So Europe's not going to be good for you at our Eastern Standard Time of 7 p.m. See, the reason why I do a 1 p.m. is that the guys in Europe, all right, can view the lesson. 7 p.m., everybody in the United States, maybe even California and South America can view the lessons. You can't get nothing in Japan or Korea or China. Well, yeah, you get it in China. But other than that, you can't. Email me. There's my mailing. There's my email. Email me. Okay. Hey, it's a long lesson today. That's nice. I'm going to try to make them longer. The more people come, the more questions I get, the easier it is to teach. Okay? Now, don't forget, the guys that are new today, email me and you'll get the time and location of the lessons and the agenda for the week, and if you need, PDFs. Okay? Now, I'm working on that workbook number 2. Hopefully, I'm shooting for Friday or Saturday. It will be complete. So sometime next week, it will be all put together for you. Whoever wants to purchase it, fine. Whoever wants to just purchase the PDFs, that's fine as well. All right, is there any questions on today's lesson before I sign off? Going once, going twice. Who's this? Okay. Anyway, let me tell you, Luca, I was in Italy. I got married in Italy. Venice. Just to let you know. Okay. I was in South America, Rio de Janeiro, Copacabana, Ipanema, San Paulo. I was never in Colombia or Chile or Mexico. But Europe, yeah. Mr. Otterson, you're welcome all the time. You're a perfect student. It's a pleasure to teach you, that I can show you the things that I know that might help you out. Okay, guys, I'm going to sign off. Please, the guys who want to get the agenda and the time and locations, please email me. So have a good rest of the day. And if you do have any questions, you're supposed to be looking at the lesson there, Robert. After the lesson. Okay, that's cool. I'm only kidding. Well, it's going to help you. And get on a Facebook. Get yourself an account. I'll friend you on Facebook, and it's another world. All the drumming groups that I have, you'll learn so much. The art of drumming, drum tuning and maintenance, the stick control formula room, the Joe Morello master studies, the syncopation book, applied rudiments, the classified, rookie drummers, all that good stuff. Cover tunes. Okay, 7 p.m. tonight, okay, on my site. And again, guys, if we have any problems with that, we're going to go to the YouTube again. Okay, so we'll see everybody this evening. It was a pleasure. Have a good day. Ay, ay, ay.